Louie is joining us from Uxbridge. Tell us what you think, Louie.
Hi, Maajid. Afternoon. Hi. Yeah, I'm sorry I have to say this, but you cannot impose a border between Republican Ireland and Ireland, because what you'll do is, as I said, break the Good Friday Agreement.
Yep.
And my mother lived in Northern Ireland, in the Newry, by the border for 9 months with her grandmother back in the 1970s, where there was the IRA, terrorism, and the Catholics and Protestants fighting. So what you'll have is you'll have a repeat of that if a hard border is imposed between Northern Ireland and Ireland. So this is going to sound stupid, because you can't put it between Liverpool and Northern Ireland and Ireland, because then that will be, like you said, a access point, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
So this is what's going to have to happen. And it sounds really, really harsh, but it's the only way you're going to be able to control the freedom of movement, because that is in itself a joke at the moment. Yep. You know, it's really not controlled at all. Immigration officers, we're going to need to start doing random checks all across the UK to make sure that individuals are of United Kingdom nationality or are from this and have...
You mean anywhere in the UK, just on our streets, immigration officials are going to walk around and say, "Oi, stop, show me your documents"?
Well, it won't exactly be like that, will it? You know, it would
well, what if I say no?
Well, there'll be laws and things that must be put in place, but something needs to be done.
Okay, and so the law's in place, Louie. You're the officer that stops me and says, "Show me your documents," and I say, "No, thank you." What are you going to do?
So it'll be like a stop and search summons, where you'll be requested to get into contact with them. Otherwise, at a later date, someone will be able to ascertain where you are and go back and do the relevant checks.
Just randomly stopping anyone on the streets.
Well, how else do you think this is going to work?
And you don't think, Louie, you don't think that's going to lead to a disproportionate number of people from ethnic minorities being stopped on the streets, being asked for their documents?
It might lead to me being stopped from the streets.
Yeah, it might lead to you, Louie, but I'm asking you whether you think it will lead to a disproportionate number of people that look foreign being stopped. And I say look foreign in quotation marks.
Well, yeah, it might do, but...
You don't think that will cause unrest? Even at the moment, with stop and search for knife crime, it causes unrest. If you go to certain inner city areas...
I've been stopped and searched for all sorts of
Louie,
things.
that's not the question I asked you, though. I asked you, disproportionately, will it affect people that, quote, unquote, look foreign?
Yes, it will, but the reason that is much better than having the border in between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland is because you'll have the repeat of the IRA, and like David McNally said, you'll have the repeat of the IRA and the Catholics and Protestants fighting again because you've broken that Good Friday peace.
Right, so you'd rather minority ethnics being stopped up and down the country continuously?
No, that's not what I'm not advocating that at all.
No, but truthfully, that's the consequence of it, though, isn't it?
Well, it is, but, you know... What else is going to be done? Can you think of a solution other than putting a border in?
Yeah, let's not have a no-deal scenario. But that's unfortunately, that's where we're headed. I
don't want a no-deal scenario. So we've got a sanctimonious, self-righteous Prime Minister only 0.03% of the population voted for. Yeah. And that's what the issue is. If we get a deal in place, we can still do our trades, we can still have people coming in, but it can be controlled. And this is why it needs to be turned over with no confidence vote in the Houses of Parliament before the 31st of October. If they can't get a deal through, a new party, such as, i.e. the Brexit Party or another party, comes into place and puts in a deal that everyone can agree for. And if you look at the Brexit Party's manifestos, they actually take into consideration everyone's point of view in the UK, except Dan Whittaker, which is a little bit...
I tell you what, Louie, at least you're thinking innovatively, though it will have consequences on civil liberties, and I suggest to you that, as you've agreed, it will have a disproportionate impact on minority communities in the UK. Well, probably not a good idea to pursue it.
Yeah, it's probably not, but, you know, my mother went to Northern Ireland in the 1970s, and with her grandfather, with her father and what have you, and we were suppressed to racism. They had the army on the streets, and it wasn't a nice place. There was bombings going on. Yeah. So it swings and roundabouts, unfortunately.
Well, no, that's the point, though. So if you're not happy with that, and imagine having document checks in Northern Ireland. Just imagine people stopping anyone randomly on the streets in Belfast saying, "Show me your documents." Because that's what the solution you're proposing, Louie. That's the consequence of it. And I can assure you it's the quickest and fastest recipe to civil unrest. Anyway, thanks for calling in. You're listening to Maajid Nawaz here on LBC, and the time is 1:47.